I landed in Burkina Faso. As soon as I got out of the plane, there was a car waiting for me at the terminal. And
Serious.
then it was like, "Welcome, Your Excellency." I'm like, "Who, me?"
Yeah.
I literally forgot. I'm like, I literally forgot. It was so
Yeah.
funny.
See.
You need to get used to that now.
No, I don't think I'll ever get used to it because I don't think because on my way from coming from Ghana to Burkina Faso, I was using the economy. Like when you are checking in, the immigration. I use the economy part.
Yeah.
Just the immigration officer is like, you're holding the red book. What are you doing here?
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just so used to it. Yeah. Okay.
All right, we're in the countdown now. Okay. Shall we get started? It's 1 o'clock. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm David Reep, and I'm director of the Africa Center here at Colorado State University. And I'm here with the Africa Center staff members. So we have Julia Munsaka. I don't know if we can see anyone. Avery Ensel, Katie Dundas Gordon, Victor Kalalanda, and Rebecca Sewu. And we're happy to welcome everyone to today's special event, Around Africa, a conversation with Wode Maya. So this event is part of the Africa Center's Eye on Africa series, which features speakers doing great things across the continent. And we're truly honored to be joined by our guest, who's a Ghanaian YouTuber, digital media influencer, and entrepreneur, and one of Africa's most recognizable storytellers. So what began as vlogs about his experiences as an African student abroad has evolved into a full-fledged media movement, Africa to the world. And through his travels across the continent, Wode Maya uses storytelling to challenge stereotypes, to highlight innovation, and celebrate the beauty, resilience, and creativity of African peoples and communities. He's covered stories from entrepreneurs in remote communities to startups transforming entire industries, and his platform has not only entertained millions, but also amplified voices that are too often unheard. So beyond content creation, Wode Maya is also a philanthropist and an entrepreneur. In 2021, he founded Charlemagne Estate in East Legon and has supported education initiatives and community development projects across the continent. In recognition of his work promoting Ghana and Africa's global image, he was recently awarded a Ghanaian diplomatic passport in 2025, which is a testament to his impact as a cultural ambassador. So for everyone that's joining us here today, again, welcome. And I just want to kind of lay out how the session will go. So we'll begin by inviting our guest to discuss his creative process and travels and his vision for the future of African storytelling. And after that, we'll open the floor to audience questions. So please, anytime if you'd like to ask a question, type it into the Zoom chat, and we'll come to those, and our moderators can ask the question to our guest. We really, really want this to be an engaging and conversational session, so please feel free to react in the chat, share your thoughts, ask questions, and connect respectfully throughout the event. So, without further ado, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Wode Maya, the storyteller, the bridge builder, and the voice bringing Africa to the world. So, Your Excellency, we're happy to have you here and excited to hear what you have to say. And just to kick things off, I just want to put this out there. You started out studying aeronautical engineering. So, what was it that made you put down the tools and pick up the camera?
Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
That was a brilliant introduction. I'm like, wow, am I the man of all these accolades? I feel like I'm finding out for myself for the first time. But thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Um, First of all, I did not drop aeronautical engineer to pick up the camera. I was literally doing both of them at the same time because when I left Ghana to China, I never got opportunity to use internet 24/7. I always had to go to the internet cafe in order to access even Facebook, right? So when I found myself in China, knowing that my school had 24/7 internet, I started doing my own research, as in how can I use this internet that I have 24/7 wisely? Hence how I discovered YouTube. So I was more like doing it alongside studying. By the end of the day, I started doing research in terms of how do I convert my passion into a profession. Because I mean, most of us in here love eating, but no one is paying us for eating. I mean, some of us love sleeping and we sleep and don't get paid. I discovered that my passion was more of talking. And I'm like, why am I talking and no one is paying me for talking? So the journey of having 24/7 internet, the journey of trying to figure out how to get paid whilst talking, hence how I found YouTube. I was just there talking. I started as a comedian. Sorry, my classmates were like, "You're not funny," by the way. So I ended up dropping the comedy into something else. So while I was on that comedy journey, my father found out one of my videos. And he was extremely angry, like, "Hey, I took you to school to become an engineer. Look at what you're doing." Um, I had to like convince my dad, but my dad is like, "No way, drop the camera and focus on your studies." So I had to channel the energy through my mom. So I managed to convince my mom that, hey, this is more like a passion and I really want to do it. I've done all the research and I feel like it can lead me somewhere. So my mom took it upon herself and said, "You know what? Give me some time. I'm going to speak to your dad." As I speak to you, my dad stopped talking to me when he discovered my video. So he literally not talking to me at that time. And my mom managed to convince my dad. And 2 weeks later, my dad picked up the phone and called me and said, "You know what? You have to do what you are doing, but I don't like what you're doing. So come home and let's talk." Initially, I thought coming home, I won't be able to come back to China. I was so scared of coming back home. But when I got back home, my father sat me down and said, "You speak the language, I mean Chinese. Why don't you use the language that you speak to change the way Chinese people think of Africa?" That was not my concept. That was not it was my father's idea. So the moment I came back to China, I decided to apply the ideas that my father gave me. Hence how my videos started going viral in China, changing the stereotypes about Africans living in China. And I had to just pick one because, yes, I graduated in 2017 as an aviation engineer. One of the students that was, out of 50, or let's say class of 60, I think I was top 10. So I was actually chosen to work in a company in China. But at the end of the day, I was making more money than the amount of money that I'll be paid while I was working at the aviation industry. So I had to just, pick one. But I think I made that decision because my dad was no more. If my dad was alive, I don't think I will, I will be doing what I'm doing right now because my dad was strictly for education. So what I did was, after doing all the research, I'm like, it's time to pick one and leave one. One, the reason why I dropped aviation engineer was not just about money, but I also realized that with aviation engineer, what kind of impact can I make? Yeah, so I had to compare impact. And then I went to making videos and I'm like, you know what? A lot of people are coming to China just because of my videos. So if people are coming to China because of my videos, I guess that's impact. But if I go back to Africa to do what I'm doing in China, I think I'm going to make a bigger impact. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I was like, you know what? It's time to say goodbye to aviation engineering. But also, I mean, yeah, let me just tell you, whatever you're doing, if you make impact, the impact converts to what? Income. So the two moved along, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to say goodbye to aviation, but it's not a forever goodbye because should I put one of my dreams in here? One of my dreams is actually own a jet someday, and that jet I might be able to fly the jet myself.
I see.
So I'm still in the aviation industry, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah. Oh, that's great. You know, I'm intrigued and I love how this idea of movement and journey is really embedded with everything that you do. And I wonder for maybe people who aren't familiar, your name, Wode Maya, comes from a Chinese phrase. Could you mind to just speak on that and talk about how it's become part of your identity and what it says about your journey between cultures?
So Wode Maya simply means my mom. But if you speak Chinese, you can say Aya Maya, which means oh my God. But if you say Aya Wode Maya, it means oh my mom. So when I started learning Chinese in China, I realized that this catchy phrase, anytime I say it, I get things for free. Like I can literally go to a restaurant and just shout it, Aya Maya, Aya Maya. And at the end of the day, I'll get the food for free because it's more like a local dialect. So the Chinese people literally get shocked when they see a foreigner speaking a local dialect. But then when my father was more like against creating YouTube videos, and my mom managed to convince my dad, I was like, why not just use the word Wode Maya? So Wode Maya simply means my mom, just celebrating my mom for convincing my dad to accept my YouTube journey.
Huh.
That is it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I like how you're kind of putting your own story and your own biography into what you're doing here. So when you talk about this idea of Africa to the world and storytelling, I know that you've said that your mission is to change how the world sees Africa. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that you still encounter?
Let me go back in terms of why the Africa to the world. So when I used to live in China, I will be in a train and no one want to sit next to me because I'm black. I will be in a taxi and the driver will look at my shoes and be like, why are you wearing shoes? Dude, like, do you feel comfortable wearing shoes? Because the kind of mindset he has for Africans, that Africans don't wear shoes. So seeing me wearing shoes, it means that literally there's something wrong. I don't know if when I was in China, anytime like my own ex-girlfriend, I'll be eating chocolate and she would just come and hold my fingers, making sure that I have all the fingers there. You know, why? Because she assumed that the chocolate color looks like my skin color, so I might mistakenly bite, bite my fingers instead of the chocolate. So I realized that all these people had all these stereotypes, misconception about Africa. So I took it upon myself when my father gave me the idea, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just go on this journey by changing that negative narrative. I mean, if you have lived in China before, anyone who has lived in China, you might be walking in China and everybody will be just taking photos of you just because they've never seen a black man before. So there's a lot. So I decided like, hey, you know what? In order to change this narrative, you cannot stay in China and change it. So I want to just come back home, showcase each and every African country in its unique way, and then show to Chinese people. But when I started showing to Chinese people, Africans themselves were shocked that, dude, I mean, is this Africa? These were Africans, because I'm a China trained. If a China trained in terms of China, choose what you see. So me too, I decided to choose what everyone sees. I mean, I can be in a place that you've been before, and I will know where to put the camera that you'll be like, oh my goodness, is this my own country? So I mastered that. And when I came to Africa and I started doing that, a lot of Africans were like, oh my goodness, is this Africa? Hence the reason why the narrative started changing and I started like, pushing more videos. I mean, when it comes to Africans themselves, this is not what I'm talking about. When it comes to Africans themselves, I mean, living in Ghana, when we hear the word Kenya or a country Kenya, we all think of runners, desert. But when they started seeing Kenya, they were like, okay, this is an African country. To the extent that there were not much intra-travel in Africa among the youth. So I decided to just change this misconception, change this narrative by showcasing the beauty of every African country. And I believe that like what we've done has created a lot of impact. I'm in Burkina Faso right now. I attended an event and over 400 people. As soon as I walked into the room, all of them came to me. Some of them were even crying, like seeing me for the first time. Like, oh my goodness, I feel like I've made it in life now. For people to cry seeing me, So it's a whole movement, it's a whole journey, and we can't stop now.
Yeah, yeah. But I think those reactions kind of speak to the impact that you're having on people across the continent and the work that you're doing to kind of bring these new different stories. I just want to say, everyone in the room, please remember to feel free to post any questions in the comments, and we can ask them to Maya. So with this idea of kind of storytelling and traveling, I can imagine it's difficult when you go to a place because there's so much. So can you talk about how do you decide which stories to tell and which ones maybe you are left out?
Yeah, so the main goal of the channel is to showcase the Africa that the world don't see. Every country is unique, and I don't tell every story. I see stories that I believe that can get me millions of views, but I don't touch it because it doesn't go with my narrative that I want to push out there. So we showcase the beauty of a country, places that people have to go, places that people need to see. Even though do we have Zambians in here? Let me just come for Zambians a little bit. Even though at some point we get mobbed. I mean, in Zambia, I can't remember, I was almost mistaken for a terrorist. And the only thing that saved me was that there was a bank closer. So I had to just run into the bank because they checked my cameras and they were like, why are you not shooting the animals? Why are you not shooting what do you call it? Go for safari. But I was in the city center showcasing the road, the people moving around, and they saw that no, this guy's a terrorist. And then one person shouted, "This is a terrorist," and then the entire people started coming to us. The time we realized I was more people were slapping, people were doing, and then we just walked into, ran into a nearby bank. So for us, the goal is just showcasing what you've never seen, the Africa that you barely see on TV. That is the main focus, and that leads us to cities, how your city looks like, and also how organized and safe a country is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of showing the unseen, but I've seen from watching some of your videos that you also spotlight kind of everyday entrepreneurs and people who are doing extraordinary things. So can you talk about what draws you to those kind of stories?
So I can't remember. I was inspired by a comment. I went to Liberia, and then I showcased a resort that was owned by a Lebanese. So I didn't know the resort was owned by a Lebanese. So I was just like my random videos, and I was like, you know what? This is the beauty of Africa. Come and see it, And I released the video during COVID. I was there reading comments, and I saw this comment. It's like, why you keep on showcasing? You keep on saying that you want to showcase Africa to the world, but this property that you're showing does not belong to an African. So what are you showcasing? I mean, yeah, it came as an angle of attack, but I found a way of turning that negativity into a positive impact. So what I did was, you know what? Let me travel within Ghana, COVID time, travel within Ghana. I went to sleep in a resort on my normal basis, normal videos that I do by showcasing the resort. But this time around, I asked this lady, please, are you sure you own this resort? She said, yeah, I own it. And I'm like, how long did it take you to own this resort? She said, it took me 4 years to even own the land. And I'm like, you know what? I would love to tell your story, even though I don't do videos like this. She was the first person, gave me the opportunity to tell her story. I was so scared because I thought my audience would not like it. So the moment that I shared that video, I closed my laptop and I slept off. When I woke up in the morning, that video was literally everywhere. And people were impressed to see an African who owns resort. And I'm like, you know what? I don't even know anybody. So I went to the woman and I'm like, okay, you know what? Do you know anyone who also owns something like what you've done before? And she's like, yeah, I have a woman who owns a restaurant. And that's how the entire entrepreneurship series started. But what kept me going is when I noticed the kind of impact such videos were actually making more than the videos that I was making before. Because a lot of Africans never knew that it's possible to make it in Africa. A lot of Africans never believed in the dream of building Africa by Africans. So when they started seeing videos from people that look like them making such impact on the continent, they were like, you know what, if he or she has done it, I can do it too. Now I started receiving comments like, I just established my own poultry farm because I watched a video from her. I just started establishing farm in this country because I think I went to Zimbabwe and I met a whole farmer who moved from the UK just because of a video that I did from Uganda. So I saw the impact was so huge, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to tell more stories of entrepreneurs in Africa. Hence the reason why, after showcasing the beauty of a country, we add entrepreneurs to our stories. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It has to be humbling and rewarding to just see the inspiration that comes out of the conversations that you're having, to both people on the continent and abroad. And I mean, you've lived abroad, but also you've kind of built your brand around the African continent. So a question I have is, how do you navigate being both a global citizen and a African storyteller?
That's a tough question. But I always say that stay true to yourself, share one story at a time. You might never know who is watching, because I mean, when it comes to a global brand, I didn't even know. The first time I started seeing people telling me that I'm watching you from here, and then I'm like, what do you mean? You're watching me from where? You know, it's just me being me, and then people across the globe are just enjoying the videos that you're doing. So I always tell people, I mean, just do whatever you can do in every corner that you are. You might never know who is watching. So,
Yeah. I just again want to remind everyone who's in the room with us here, please post your questions in the chat, and we're happy to share them with Maya here as we're coming along here. So kind of following up with that, Maya, do you feel any kind of responsibility yourself as one of Africa's most visible YouTubers to represent not just yourself, but also the continent?
It's very tough. I feel like the responsibilities right now is extreme, because I just started this as more like a young man on a journey to change the negative narrative of Africa. It was fun when I started, but I think now people see you in a certain way and you have to act that way. I mean, wherever I find myself, I try my best to represent the continent in my own way. But I feel like also people put you on a high esteem that you always have to be there for the continent. Even like I went to Jamaica, and they were calling me Mr. African. Oh, Mr. Africa. And I'm like, I'm just from Ghana, you know. But then, like, all the Caribbean countries that I went to, they saw you as a representation of Africa. So being an ambassador for the continent, you just can't act a certain way. So I always have to watch what I say. I need to always watch how I dress sometimes, because I personally, I'm a big fan of my t-shirt and my shorts. But now people expect me to dress up a certain way, and I'm like, I can't dress up a certain way. I just want to be me. But you know, when you sometimes find yourself in a certain room, you just have to just, you know, go with the rules and regulations of that room that you find yourself in. So at the end of the day, yes, indirectly, unofficially, an ambassador of the continent. Yeah, let me just put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I imagine it's a big responsibility with the audience that you reach and the platform that you have. So it's inspiring to see how you're maneuvering that. I see in the chat, and I'm going to turn over to Victor quickly here. I think we have a few questions from the audience.
Can you get me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thanks, Dave, and thanks, Wode Maya. Yeah, we have two questions here. The first one is this one. So they would like to know which one is more important between changing how Africans think about Africa as opposed to the world or others? Which one is more important? Because they think probably changing how Africans think about Africa is more important than focusing on the outside world. So which one of the two from your experience is more important?
I think I'll go for changing how Africans think of Africa is more important. Because listen, Africans, when I started making videos, I realized that Africans don't even believe in Africa. Africans don't even think that it's possible to make it in Africa, especially the Africans that find themselves in the diaspora. Like they are the ones that sometimes I feel like the narrative of Africa, they push it in a certain way that even their colleagues are scared of visiting the continent. I think I'm not here to say that Africa is perfect. Africa got its own issues, Africa got its own problems, but don't forget that Africans are the only ones that have solution for Africa's problem. You cannot build Africa with a westernized solution, and it's about time for us to get to understand that we have to build Africa by ourselves. I mean, if we don't take care, very soon we will become foreigners in our own continent, and it's happening. Just let's look around us. Uber is not for Africa, but Uber is everywhere. Bolt is not for Africa, but Bolt is everywhere. Check out the hotels that most Africans sleeps in Africa. It's not for Africans, but it exists in Africa. What is an African doing? Ask yourself, what is an African doing? We have chains of supermarket in Africa that we are all like excited to go and shop in there. It's not for an African. So very soon we might be in our own continent, but become consumers and foreigners in our own continent. And it's about time for us to put our resources together. Recently, I was on a show and I was like, you know what? We have so many raw materials, even agriculture, for instance. We don't have factories that process, I mean, our tomatoes, pepper, and all kind of things. But we are looking at or dependent on the government to build a tomato factory. We don't need to depend on the government. But if I don't know how many people are here, if 40 people can say that, okay, we're giving ourselves 2 years, each day we're going to donate $1 for us to be able to set up a factory that processes tomatoes. We can do it. But listen, what do we do every day? We wake up and blame games. Like every day we are blaming somebody for our problems. Every single day. Instead of just stop blaming people, sit down, analyze that you have a problem and figure it out. How do we solve our problem with an African solution? The moment we start changing that mindset, you will see how Africa will flourish. But for now, I just want to ask each and everyone listening to me, do you believe in Africa? Do you believe that it's possible to build Africa? Even look at our gold mines. Look at our diamond mines. It's not being mined by Africans. Do you know that? Our oil. I mean, we have everything. Everybody's saying that, oh, Africa is the richest continent in the whole world. But ask yourself, who mines your gold? Who mines your diamond? Who mines your bauxite? Who mines it? We don't do anything. We just stay here, consume, and keep going. So I am just saying that it's time. Especially, I'm speaking to the youth of Africa. I believe that there are so many youth on this platform, that the future of Africa belongs to us. And it's about time for us to start figuring out how to build our continent together. East Africans are here. We say Pamoja Milele. Or is it Pamoja Milele or Umoja? Together we can. Thank you.
Can I ask the next question?
Yeah, please.
Yep.
Okay. So the next question is, when Dave asked you about if you feel a great sense of responsibility on this mission of taking Africa to the world, the question says, who do you do this with? Who do you carry that burden with your team? Or do you build this with a bigger network? Like, how big is your team? What partners do you have? Yeah, how big is your network and team?
You know, if I tell you how big my team is, you'll be amazed. Like the team is just like made up of just 4 people. The team is made up of 4 people, but we're looking forward to do bigger things. But the thing is, like anyone who comes on board comes with their own ideas, and ideas don't suit the brand because I don't want to commercialize this whole idea of changing the narrative of Africa. Because the moment you commercialize it, that's when you start losing the grassroots of what you started. So it's just taking it one step at a time. And I believe that even if I don't see the change in my lifetime, there will be somebody out there that I can inspire to take up the mantle from where I left and run with it. Because when I started this, I didn't want to do it alone. I think I inspired a lot of YouTubers across the continent of Africa for them to start telling the positive stories. But I think most of them, when they started seeing the money that was coming in, some left the continent, some, started doing something else that will enable them to make more money. Because the challenges that come to the videos that I do, you have no idea. If I should start telling you the challenges that we go through to create one video, you won't believe it. Sometimes I even ask myself, why are you doing this? Who asked you? Who forced you? But at the end of the day, if you believe in the vision and the mission of what you're doing, you keep going regardless. So just hope that if somebody is listening to me today and you're inspired to pick up a camera and start telling the positive story of Africa, please do it, because very soon I might step down and then, just coach certain people to just carry on the mantle. Yeah.
Can I ask a follow-up, since you brought up your team and work that you're doing? So from what I understand, you finance your own travel and your own production. And I wonder, can you talk about what has that independence allow you to do that partnerships or sponsorships might not allow you?
So I've worked with sponsors before, and sponsorship restrict me. I can't say certain things. I can't dress certain way. Whenever I'm done with a video, I have to send them the video for them to cross-check the video. And by the time you realize the main content of the video is literally taken out just because somebody said something. So I am not a big fan of even partner with people, because at the end of the day, if you partner, you lose the value of the content. So hence the reason why I told my team, I know this is going to be hard, but it's better for us to create our own videos, push our own narrative. I don't know, we might not be making bigger money than what other people are making, but at the end of the day, if the videos are making impact in people's life, that is the most important thing. I mean, being independent, creating videos on my own without asking people for money and all of that allows me to say whatever that I want to say. Because at the end of the day, I can speak truth to power. The day that I just say that give me this amount of money, that's the day I lose my voice. I mean, in Ghana, I wake up any day and I say whatever I want to say, because listen, I'm Wode Maya, and I don't think anyone can come out here and say that I gave you money to say this and I gave you money not to say that. So I love the freedom that comes with creating your own videos without having any partners that will restrict you from saying this and not saying that. So I enjoy that freedom, and I don't want to lose it anytime soon.
Yeah, it seems like freedom and also integrity to your messaging, which is important.
Right.
Victor, do we have some more questions?
Yes. So one more question here. Another question here says that from your travels around Africa, which African city do you think is the emerging capital for business and investment?
The entire Africa is open for business, but if I should give you a few cities that I feel like it's gonna be easy for you to do business in, I'll go for Nairobi, Johannesburg, Accra, but it's so expensive by the way, so just get used to that. Yeah, I think this 3 cities, I think for easier, I think easy access, I think it's ideal. Nairobi, one of the fastest internet that you will ever get will be in Nairobi. Johannesburg, I think access to funds, you'll get it in Johannesburg. Ghana, yeah, Ghana is open for business, man. Accra is open for business. So this three cities, I think that would be what I would say for now. Yeah. Is there any other city? Nah, I think these three cities. Yeah.
Okay. We have another question here which says, from your work, what misconceptions about Africa do you think your work has corrected? Yeah, what are those for you the biggest misconceptions your work has corrected?
Africa is not safe to travel to. And I think I find myself in almost every country and I'm living my best life. Today, there's a woman that I met who just visited Africa for the first time. I met her today. And her first visit, she's just meeting me for the first time. And she started shedding tears. And I mean, I also had to shed tears a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit, not too much. Because I got a bit emotional when she was talking. Said, I'm in Africa for the first time just because of you. I mean, I've been watching you for the past 5 years, and your videos encourage me to make that step. And here I am, and guess what? The first country. I'm even surprised that she chose Burkina Faso as her first country, because I recently did a video of searching for the most loved African president, which I think a lot of people watched that video, and she chose Burkina Faso for the first time, and then I happened to be in Burkina Faso today, and we met for the first time. So for me, that biggest misconception is Africa is not a safe place to travel, and now people are traveling in Africa. Just after seeing my videos, that people that even follow my journey, like places that I've been to, they just go there and then send photos and tag me online. It's just an incredible impact, man. Yeah.
Another question here says, what were some of the challenges you faced when starting your journey?
That's it. The challenges were many. Let me start from the basic challenge of not having a camera to shoot my videos. Yeah, and when I moved to Africa, the challenges were people not believing in an African capable of traveling in Africa. So when I arrive at the border post, they start asking me, can you go to the ATM? Let's see the amount of money in your account before they allow me to enter the country. That was one of my biggest challenges. Second challenge was visas within Africa. It was extremely difficult to, apply visas traveling within Africa. Can you believe it? And that is one of the advocacies that I've been on, asking for visa free for all Africans within Africa, borderless Africa. Another challenge was being arrested for filming because they didn't believe in this whole YouTube or what are you doing. So I got arrested. Hence how I was deported from Uganda and Zambia for the first time because Ugandans thought I was spying on their president for filming in the city. So I was deported back. I think 4 years later, the government reached out to me and then asked me to come back and officially apologize to me. Officially apologized to me that they didn't understand what I was doing in the past, but now they've seen it. And yeah, the challenges, it is so expensive to travel in Africa, by the way. I was in Europe and I was buying a ticket for $25 and 25 euros, and I couldn't believe that a flight ticket can cost 25 euros because my ticket from Burkina Faso, from Ghana to Burkina Faso, was $450, and it's just an hour flight. So that is also one of the biggest challenge, which is slowing down my work, because at the end of the day, I mean, we fund our own trips, so all the time you always have to make sure you make more money before you can travel. And I don't like to travel all by myself. I travel with a team of two. So imagine coming to Burkina Faso, I have to choose one person and come with. So 450 in and out times two. Yeah, so that's one of the biggest challenge. So the challenges are just many, trying to showcase the beauty of Africa to the world. But regardless, we keep moving.
Yeah, that's great. Maya, I think we have some comments in the chat. I'm going to ask Julia if you can share those.
Yeah, sure. So, Sarah is very happy to see you. She's a Nigerian living in Budapest. She's an agri-tourist, and she promotes the safeguarding of African indigenous food and forgotten food. And then Bright is also happy to see you. He's from Achieva Foods Limited, LLC, Ghana, the producers of Daliha Turkey Berry Foods. He says it's
Oh,
a
wow.
joy to be here, and they were privileged to have hosted you 2 years ago. Truman says it sounds like the stories affect how Africa thinks about Africa might be more important than changing what other people, or rather the world, thinks about Africa. And then Annie is from Indigo Homes, Ghana, a residential real estate developer. She says, thank you for featuring their founder and CEO, Cheryl Mills, and shaping the Africa story. Abraham says the impact you have created to every aspiring African entrepreneur is immeasurable. You are the light of all Africa. Much appreciations to you from South Sudan. And then I'll read the last one for now, which is from Isuazi, which says, hello, good evening. You and Tayo Aina really inspire Iswazo. Hopefully one day they get to be like both of you as they're working on their craft daily, and really appreciate.
Those are beautiful comments. Thank you.
Wow. That's wonderful to just see, and especially from all over the place. It's impressive to see and inspiring. Victor, I think we have more questions. Can we turn it back over to you?
Yes, we have some more. So someone here says, by the way, someone just posted and said that they have like power cut in Nigeria. So so in line with that, yeah. So in line with that, someone asked that from your interactions with African leaders, what do you think they can do to bring Africa to the level we want to see that?
So basically, that's one of the things that I'm trying to work on in terms of getting African leaders in terms of one-on-one, to ask them questions, uncomfortable questions, just that questions that you don't have to send to them for them to prepare first. And that has been a major challenge, but I believe that we're going to break through that very soon. I just want to say this, yeah. It's rather unfortunate that when you hear African leaders speak, it seems like they're just politicians, not real time leaders. There's a difference between a leader and a politician, and we need to get that right. That the destiny of Africa is in our own hands as Africans, not in the hands of the politicians. And so, for me, I barely rely on them because most of them just occupy the position without knowing what they are there for. And I'm just being brutal honest because I got an opportunity to study, learn from them, and I've met most of them. I know most of them, but what they do, I've actually got opportunity to get to see what they do. And I would just tell each and every African in here, bright or shine at every corner that you find yourself, make impact at every corner that you find yourself, and not relying on the leaders of today that they will change something about the continent. No, they have no plans for you. They just literally have plans for themselves, not for you. Thank you.
And then we have another question here. You've visited different African countries and you've eaten in different capitals, tasted the foods across the continent. This person is asking, do you think indigenous food can help with food security on the continent?
In indigenous food?
Yes.
Yeah,
he's asking, do you think indigenous food can help with food security on the continent?
Okay, so I would just say that yes, because everything that we eat on the continent, all the countries that I've been to, is strictly organic. Yeah. The moment that we start embracing food that comes out of the continent, we just causing harm to ourselves. You see, that also comes to the point that I'm saying that it's about time for Africans to start believing in the continent. When I was growing up, let me just give you a typical example. When I was growing up, brushing our teeth used to be like, what to call it, charcoal, right? We use charcoal together with the plantain. You have to use the top of the plantain, and then you use it to brush your teeth. I mean, when we started growing up as big boys and big girls, we started feeling like, no, that's nasty. We don't want to use that anymore. Guess what? They rebranded the charcoal toothpaste for us, and then we started buying the charcoal toothpaste, knowing that we had this before. And now we're buying charcoal toothpaste, and they are telling us that our charcoal toothpaste, the one that we were using before, is not good. So that is how they've managed to convince us to avoid our own indigenous food. But I'm here to let you know that it's about time to embrace the authentic, natural, indigenous food that we have on the continent. We grow what you eat. You have to know what you eat. We start growing what we eat instead of embracing everything. I mean, have you anyone from Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe's got a chicken called Road Runner. Is it Road Runner or Road Runner? Anyone from Zimbabwe here? Like that, it's called
Yes,
like Road Runner.
it's called road runners, yes.
Road Runner, yeah. I mean,
I'm from Zambia, so I know about the chickens in Zimbabwe.
okay. You see, I think for me, that is the one that would be one of the healthiest chicken you will ever taste. By the end of the day, they tell us that no, we don't need to eat that. They gotta import chicken from somewhere else for us to consume. So I think it's time to embrace what we have on the continent. That's it.
There's someone from Mozambique who's asking whether they can write a book about you and how they can get authorization to do that.
Like that's an interesting one. I recently found a book on Amazon called Wode Maya, and I'm like, who did this? Like people are doing it. So yeah, I mean, feel free. I mean, someday I'll write my own book, but yeah, feel free and do it. I'll sign for you. It's okay. It's good for all of us to make money, man. Yeah.
Maya, I think we have some more comments, and Julie is going to share.
All right, cool.
Sorry, I was unmuted. Abraham, sorry, is saying you're doing great for Africa. You're showing the beauty, potential, and the strength of our mother continent. Keep inspiring us. Keep telling your stories from the world. We're very proud of you from South Sudan. Francis says you're a great guy. Happy to see you. He's from Ghana. You're a role model. P-Man sends much appreciation to you. Big up to you, bro. His Excellency Wode Maya. Sir Thompson, you inspired him to believe in Africa. We'll stay and make it great from Ghana as well. Mauto says the mindset about ourselves is our biggest challenge. Self-love must be taught in our schools and get our younger ones to accept who they are and appreciate the beauty we have on the continent. Only Africans can solve Africa's problems. And then Bright also says that indigenous foods in Africa, when processed, can feed the world because the Western world has managed to import the same African soil as raw materials, add value to it, and feed the people with it. That's exactly what they're doing at Achieva Foods Limited.
For that, Julia. Maya, I have a question. If you were to mentor a young African content creator or entrepreneur today, what's the first piece of advice that you'd offer?
I would just say, stay true to yourself, stay authentic, don't try to be anyone else. Yeah, I think that is the biggest advice I will ever give to anyone, because when I started, a lot of people were against the way I dress, but I was just me, and I didn't even see anyone. I was just being me, to the extent that people would say like, "Oh, go and find something else to do." But today, all those people who were looking at me in a certain way are now understanding the cause. So I'm just telling each and everyone who wants to be the next Wode Maya, even bigger than Wode Maya, The best advice is stay true to yourself.
Mm.
And most importantly, stay authentic. That's
Yeah. No, that's great. Victor, I think we have a few more questions. We have maybe 10 minutes or so.
Yes, we probably won't manage to go through all the questions, but I think probably this will mean a lot to someone here. And it's in line with what Dev just asked, which is how do they monetize their YouTube channel?
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. When I started making YouTube videos, there was nothing like monetization. There was nothing like going through a lot of process to monetize your channel. But now a lot of people are creating YouTube videos, so YouTube has a requirement, and the requirement is you have to get 1,000 people to follow you, 1,000 people to subscribe to your channel, and get 4,000 watch hours. So if you get this too, your channel is automatically qualifies to be monetized. So I think that is the first step. Second step, yeah, there's no second step. Second step is create content that will enable you to reach the 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 watch hours. Yeah.
Okay. Someone here also wants to know, do you think Africa can unite as a continent or just on an economic basis?
We are already uniting. We're already uniting. It's like I said, it's just the people that we have that are leading us at the biggest problem of the continent, because they don't even understand the word the sentence African unite. But individually we are uniting. Bro, I married from Kenya, man. That's the unity, man. I married from Kenya. That's unity. So we are uniting in our own way. And so I think it's happening, especially the young people. We don't even see the country that we come from. We carry Africa as pride, and we marrying ourselves, we're dating ourselves, we are investing in each other. A lot is happening. I mean, I can tell you, I'm here, and then I'm seeing Ghanaians investing in Burkina Faso. I mean, I just met a Burkinabe who lives in Ghana, investing in Ghana, and she came for holiday. So we're doing our own thing in our own small way. So when the time comes, you will see the speed. And don't forget that, bruh, are you single, by the way?
I mean?
Answer the question, man. Are you single?
Yes, yes, I am.
Good. So you're from Zambia. So look for someone from South Africa. Look for somebody from different. Even you can come to West Africa. I can introduce someone from West Africa to you, by the way, if you are interested.
Please do.
I mean, that's the unity that we're talking about. I mean, it's happening, and it's happening right in front of our eyes, man. And you are the future leader. I mean, imagine becoming the president of Zambia, and your wife is from, West Africa. I mean, come on, bro. You see what I'm saying? So I believe in the unity, and it's happening right in front of our eyes, man. Yeah.
We have another question here that says, so is there a moment when you nearly gave up due to negative responses from Africans and authorities, like deporting you, for example, what happened to you in Zambia? And how did you manage to convince yourself, to stay on? Because I remember at some point you actually did a video where you are just trying to tease people that you want to quit YouTube, and people didn't tell you about the realities of marriage.
Bro, I mean that was just a joke, by the way. But I think I give up almost every day. But the moment that I step out and I see the smiles on people's faces for just seeing me, I mean, when people see me, they don't just say, "I love your videos." They say, "Thank you so much for what you're doing for Africa." That alone fuels me to just continue doing what I'm doing. Because if I should start telling you guys the challenges that I face for creating one videos, it's actually overshadows the positive videos that I create. But you will never see me coming out talking about all these things every single day. Just to tell you that it's stressful. I mean, I'm in Burkina Faso back again. I believe that a lot of people watched my Burkina Faso video and they were so happy that I created that video. But people didn't know what I went through to create that video. At some point, I was like, you know what? Why am I doing this? You know, we're arrested. We have to showcase. We have to show. Fortunately for me, I had the picture with the president of Ghana on my phone, and that's how I was, you know, maneuvering within the city just to be able to film a video. So I would just tell you, like, wherever there are challenges, that's where the opportunities are. So yeah, the challenges comes in, and I just figured out how to solve it one step at a time. And I don't think nothing will break me anytime soon, man. I don't think so. I don't think I will ever stop what I'm doing, man. Yeah.
Okay, another person here is asking, so when your camera is off and it's just you and silence, do you ever ask yourself if you are shaping Africa's story or Africa's spirit is shaping you?
Read that question again. Wow.
So this is Bright Coffee Akua. When your camera is off and it's just you and silence, do you ever ask yourself if you are shaping Africa's story or Africa's spirit is shaping you?
I think African spirit is shaping me. The way I think now is way beyond how I used to think before. And I think the more I create, the more I get educated. People don't know that the videos that I'm creating is not just for them or trying to shape Africa's image, but I'm also shaping the way I think, the way I see the continent, you know, the opportunities on the continent. It's actually built me up. And sometimes when I speak and people are like, "How old are you?" But it's not because I am too old or too young. It's because of what I experience each and every day in an African country. And I believe that that has helped shaping my perspective. And to me, is the best thing I've ever done. I don't I care about whatever, like the videos, the impact that the videos is making out there. But what matters to me right now is the man that I've become through the videos that I've been creating about the continent of Africa. Yeah.
That's great. I hate to say it, we're kind of nearing the end of our hour. So Maya, I'd like to ask a final question, and maybe it's one that others are thinking. And I do want to say there's still many great questions here, and I wish we had time for them because they're fascinating. But unfortunately, we know that you've got other things to do. I want to ask, looking ahead, what is next for Wode Maya? You know, what story do you still want to tell that you haven't yet captured?
Wow. The goal is to visit every Black nation in the world. Like the goal is to just step my foot in every Black nation. I mean, when I talk about Black nation, everywhere you can find Black people. I mean, like, see Africa, Caribbean, the US, Pacific, all those areas. I just want to be able to tell their stories. You know, that's why I think when the government of Ghana, I was recently trying to go to Australia, and my visa got denied. I was like, oh my goodness, like, you know, I was like, I wanted to meet the Aborigines, you know, but then visa got denied. And at the same day that Ghana gave me a diplomatic passport, and I believe that that would even enable me to, you know, move faster with what I'm doing. So that is the biggest goal. So I think I've not even done half of what I'm doing. So whenever you guys are praying, just say a prayer for me and hope that I achieve this goal before I leave planet Earth.
No, we will definitely do that, and I feel like I can speak for everyone here that we're just proud of what you're doing and really excited to see what it is that comes next. So we are about at the end of our time. I do want to remind everyone that this conversation has been recorded and it's going to be posted on YouTube, and you can also access it through Colorado State University's Africa Center website if you want to catch up or if you missed a part of it. I do want to say, Your Excellency, just on behalf of the center, and all of the staff and the university. Thank you so much for being here today. It was a wonderful pleasure to have you, and just to hear your perspectives and to hear not only how you've shaped what you're doing, but how you're shaping what's coming next. So really with the utmost sincerity, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.